Well, hey.
Hey, good evening.
Lee looking all swollen up over there.
Yeah. Whatever y'all do, if y'all get out in the yards, do some yard work, keep an eye out for the poison ivy around.
Poison ivy.
It don't feel too good on the face.
You didn't have the poison ivy.
I took one Benadryl a little while ago. I think about 7:30 I'm going to do another. And about 8 o'clock, I think I'm going to have to run out tonight.
Thanks, William. Appreciate that. So you didn't say, see, there's all kinds of songs we could do here, right? And I've got an ocean of calamine lotion. You remember that one?
I've been using that nonstop. At least I like the clear better. You can't see it that much.
So the pink stuff, like when we was kids.
Yeah.
The Cayman was just live, so I know people will be cycling in. I think he's still live, to be honest with you. So we just went ahead and went because it seemed like he was getting ready to wrap up. So I'm sure we'll get people starting to come in here. Lee's struggling over there tonight. He's starting to, a year ago, he wasn't wearing glasses. He didn't have the hat on. He's starting to be a more refined and defined Lee over there.
Well, my old lady said that too. She used that word refined. And, she used refined and distinguished.
Distinguished. There you go.
Yeah.
So I did a little live this morning. So we got this thing going at work, right? We're like one of the smaller pest control companies in our area, right? You got the big guys like Terminex, Orkin, the big name brand guys, right? And then you got us, right? We're a little bit smaller. But so we're doing a Google review. I guess a Google review competition at work. So a few months ago, I did a short live in the morning, right? And asked people, please go to the site and leave me personally, just leave a review. Hey, great company. Thanks, Bob, or something like that, right? 17th largest on the East Coast, right? We are the largest independent family-owned pest control company in America, but locally, we're pretty small. And so this competition acts basically like a lottery, right? So you have to have at least 10 Google reviews with your name on it to qualify you in the pot. Well, now all of a sudden, I was like way out in front. And then all of a sudden, other people got, the fire near the end of the competition. They're trying to push in there, right? So everything over 10, every Google review you get over 10, your name goes in the hat. And then you get they do a drawing. So even though I have a lot of reviews or whatever, someone that's got one, like 11, and they got one entry, they could still win if that one is drawn. But it helps.
You just have a higher chance.
Yeah, I've got a higher percentage chance. So I need everybody. It would be so great if you just went to Dodson Pest Control, West Columbia, South Carolina, and put a 5-star review and said something, Bob, be respectful, please. It is my daily work. But, the boss thinks it's pretty amazing that I can go live for 4 minutes and all of a sudden I get 10 reviews, right? And so you guys have really been pushing the envelope with my boss. So I think it's pretty funny. I don't see near the people that like our technicians see, right? Because they have established routes and they see people. Not only do they see new people, but they're seeing the same people over and over again. So for me, it's easier for them to get these Google reviews to help, it helps the company, but for the competition. And me, I might see 3-4 people a day that I've never met before in my life, that may or may not buy anything. So it's hard to get them to do a review. So
yeah, you ought to tell your boss, think about doing a little YouTube channel for the business there. Just little removals here and there, little treatments.
Well, a lot of the reviews, if you leave a review on there, you'll see that it'll say the owner of the company replies back. The owner of the whole company will reply back to people's reviews and thank them and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, see, Chris will admit it. They see a lot more people than I do. So for me to even be in the running, which I'm actually leading right now, but I've got to keep the pressure on. Got my free package of bees today, and they're all dead. But the replacement package is coming. Where'd you get the free package of bees from? Greg? Did you win them from Greg at Nature's Image or somewhere? But so I got the cutout. Brian had made a comment on the video earlier. I did get the cutout. It was a small cutout, basically one frame of bees in there, believe it or not. That's why they were free. They were dead. Oh, Harvest Lane honey. So I actually have the Google review page up here, so I'll be able to see if anybody goes over there. So that'd be cool. Let me just see. We are at 409 right this second. Let's see. Yeah, we're at 409 right now. So I'll be able to see how many during the stream of people that go over there and do this review and hit the 5 stars and put my name in there somewhere.
Now, what's the deadline on that?
Well, my boss has to go to some kind of manager's meeting next week. So that's, I guess, kind of the deadline when he has to report it in. So hopefully I can get out in front and stay out in front, right? Because if you ain't first, you're last, as Ricky Bobby says. You had 8. Did I read that right? You had 8 swarms in 4 days?
Now, was that out of your bees, Sarah, or
you were just capturing them?
Well, at least you got somebody to help her.
Yeah, good thing your husband went and helped you out on that. I've been fortunate. I really haven't had any swarms this year.
I'm surprised I hadn't, the way I've been working. Last year I had a couple because of working the hours. This year I hadn't noticed any swarms. I've been going out there in the evening, just kind of glancing at them, kind of crack the lid, look in, and walk off. That's about all the time I got time for. But I hadn't had any. But I did throw a little bit extra super on this year compared to last year.
I went out today and I did get a little bit of time in the bees. Basically checking the supers, right? Checking to see because this is kind of new for me because now I'm putting on supers that have drawn comb, right? So regulating how fast they're filling those up is kind of what I've been trying to do. And if they're getting close, I just threw another one on there. And yeah, find the queen, if I see her. And you know what? I have one queen that it doesn't matter what queen excluder I put on there. She can get through. I saw her on top of the queen excluder today, on the wrong side of the queen excluder, when I know I've shook her down 3 times in the bottom. And she's back in the bottom now. And I switched that yellow plastic one out for a gray plastic one from Man Lake to see if that works. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to...
Is that all plastic queen excluders or the metal ones?
I have mostly plastic. I do have 3 metal ones. And that's the only one that I've had problems with her coming through the excluder.
Now, whenever I order all my stuff from Better Bee, I mean, anytime I order just like a full hive setup, it comes with the plastic excluder. And when I first started with them, the bees just didn't want to go through there into a brand new super. So I tried putting a super on there that had drawn comb. I'd get a couple of them in there at first. It would take them quite a while to get through and start working anything. But I hadn't had a problem with a queen getting through yet.
But I've got a couple that have 3 supers on them, and there's bees on every frame in those supers working it. So it is really starting. And where's Charlie when you eat him? That is a single brood chamber management hive. Whenever
I get a full day off of work, I'm working on something for that right there, but I can't quite tell you what it is yet. But it's going to go with the single brood management.
So I saw everybody over on Cayman's channel, and do we have the picture? We don't have the picture, do we? I'll have to show it.
Which picture?
I will show the picture. Hold on. Let me move it over to the other tab over here. And Lee and I work together on the label.
Oh, okay.
The new label of the new product. So it's open for pre-order right now on the website. I'm just waiting on labels to come in. But if you look at the lettering, it looks like capped honey. How cool is that? So the concentrate. Let's talk concentrate. Everybody knows what concentrate is, right? Concentrate is a little something that makes a lot of something, right? It's very concentrated. Concentrated. Like concentrated orange juice or concentrated whatever, right? So it's going to come, the first iteration is going to come in this bottle. Right? So 2-ounce bottle. This should make 2 Zep bottles. And I say 2 Zep bottles because I believe they're either 24 or 32 ounces. So you take half of this and put it in a bottle. Or actually, you'd probably take the squeeze bottle. I would say put a little bit of water in it. Put half of this bottle in it. Fill it the rest of the way up with water. Put the cap on it and shake it. And that'll give you a full Zep spray bottle full of honey rustler or honey remover, right? Get the bees out of your supers. And the reason I'm doing it in a concentrate, I don't know if it's going to stay a concentrate, But for you guys and putting it on my website, which doesn't get a lot of traffic, I figured this was the best way because this will keep down the shipping costs because I'm not shipping 64 ounces.
Yeah, you're shipping 64 ounces of water, whatever the actual net weight is, plus the bigger bottle, the bigger package.
So that's the goal. So this will have this label on it. So, and it's got directions over on the side over here. And, you know, just a cool little design. Got the gun coming in front of the honey there. So it looks a little 3D effect. Thanks, Lee. Lee was like, hey, you know, you can keep that gun in front of there and move that back and do. And I was like, that's why you do what you do. And I talk.
Bob was talking about he didn't have the software or the knowledge to do it. I told him I got the software. I just lack the knowledge to do it. But we got it figured out.
Between our two minds, we came together and got it figured out. So the first batch will only be 50 of these. So if you want one, you need to order it because that, with everything else I've done, the pre-order is what kind of pushed the rest of the being able to buy the supplies I need to make more. So you guys will definitely, I've ordered 1,000 labels. So hopefully, you know, they're usually pretty quick. They come in really quick. Really swarmed after you filled your first super up. You know, that might be something. I have not checked. We need to put the link out there because Charlie will come and tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, on the single brood, I put the first super on once it gets, I say 70%, maybe even 60% sometimes. I'm already getting ready to put that second super on. I don't want them to completely fill it up.
No, we saw Andrew. The price of the concentrate is $29.99. But why is it $29.99? That is so expensive. Well, we did the math yesterday. Let me show you what let's see. Hold on, I got to stop that screen. Oops, sorry. Let's stop that share. I got to start another share. You got your calculator handy, Lee? Because we're going to do some math. We did the math yesterday.
I can bring one up on the screen here if you would like.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Can you bring it up while I got one up too? Or no?
Nope.
Okay, so Bee Quick, Fisher's Bee Quick from Better Bee is $17.95. Is that cheaper than my concentrate? At face value, yes, it is. But you're paying $17.95 for 8 ounces of finished product, right? So you got your calculator now?
Yep.
Bring that up. All right. $17.95 divided by 8 ounces.
$9.95 an ounce.
Nope, that's wrong.
I may have hit the wrong thing. But $17.95.
Yep.
Divided by 8 ounces. Okay, there we go. I hit
$2.24 an ounce. Now multiply that by 64. What my finished product makes. So you would have to buy $143.60 of Fisher's Bee Quick to get the same amount of product of what my concentrate makes. So
a 4.7 times more for the other one for the same amount.
Yep. So it's that's the whole thing that I've been trying to wrap my head around when I come up with something is how can I make it cheaper and effective and be able to ship it cheaper. Be right back. Need to check all my chickens. Am I the only one that just like leaves my chickens in the pen? The door's open. They can just go in when they want to, come out when they want to. I don't really close them down.
I usually left mine locked up all the time. Now, sometimes I would put a little fence out around my garden
I'm
whenever.
surprised you didn't get that automatic one that comes up and down when the sun.
No, I actually built my
solar
own
trip.
door and had the springs on it. But whenever the garden was done and I was ready to tear everything up, I would put a little fence around my garden to the chicken pen, open the door, and I'd let them go in there and just scratch everything out.
I'm gonna copy the link over for our Charlie. Charlie's sitting there waiting. He's probably waiting. He's like, now he's probably gonna boycott us and be like, I'm not going because they waited 21 minutes in before they put the link up. You know what? He have a bee? He doesn't have a bee club on Tuesday nights, does he?
I wanted to say it's on Tuesdays, but I don't know what Tuesday.
Well,
we had
with the single brood chamber management, I only really did equalization and stuff up until I started adding honey supers. Once I started putting honey supers on and they started moving up into the super, I never really, and hey, James is a single brood chamber management guy, so maybe he can come on if he's got a minute. I haven't really gone back into a lot of those that are starting to get 2 and 3 supers on them. And so,
well, yeah, I mean, usually once I put my first super on, I don't really go back down into the brood chamber. Now, if it's a brand new super that's just waxed foundation, I'll wait till that gets about 80, maybe 90% drawn, and then I'll put another super on. Now, if it's already drawn at about 60 or 70% full of nectar, I'll go ahead and put another super on.
Right. That's the so I haven't, and that's the thing. And I think a lot of it is, it's that fine line of beekeeping where we want to keep them strong, but not too strong. Right. And we don't want to make them too weak. So it's just kind of like, so luckily James helped me a lot this year, guys, with
there's the devil.
And we're talking about single brood chamber management. And here,
I heard you.
Here he comes. So, yeah. So, I mean, after the honey super start going on, I haven't been back into those. Like the ones that have 2 and 3 honey supers on and the bees are working their way up.
Yeah.
Senor James.
How are you doing, guys?
How y'all doing tonight?
You look like you're working still.
I just got off work and now I'm heading to the apiary.
Mm-hmm.
To do more work.
To do more work. Actually, I have to split again.
Again.
My hives are, they're plugged out. The medium super is completely laid up. The bottom one is completely laid up. And, I have no honey flow yet. So I'm splitting again.
Hey, James, on that 70-30, is that you were talking about when it's 70% drawn, you'll throw another on, 30% nectar, throw another?
Yeah, when the bees are on 77 of the 10 frames, I'll throw another one on. I'll always make sure that they got at least 3 left there.
Okay.
So,
but will they finish those 3 or will they just start moving up?
Yeah, that's hard to tell. The bees do what the bees want to do, right? The good news is if they do move up and they start working the top ones, a little bit of hive management, you can drop them down below so that they're always.
Well, you can because you're using all deeps.
I was about to say you could always slide those frames over and then put those back in the middle.
Got it.
So yeah, so once I started putting supers on some of these, I haven't gone back down below the excluder. They're packed with bees, and the supers are getting packed with bees. So if they're working up, I feel like they're managing their space now. I could be entirely wrong because some people are saying they're getting swarms with single brood chambers.
That's where I'm at, where I did not equalize my hives this spring, and I had a crazy amount of bees because of Apis biologic. So I added multiple supers on there to give those bees space, which they populated the honey supers. But then I went back in 2 weeks later and I got queen cells. So there's the one key factor I've noticed with James and Ian and all that. They all, if you watch like Ian's, he'll pull off a split out of that hive to set that hive backwards, and that's the only thing I don't want to make any more splits. I don't need to make, it's like I don't want to, I'm I don't know. I'm just not. I don't need the more hives, I guess is what it amounts to. But I think
you can
James is
always use more hives, Charlie.
Well,
yeah,
I look at it like this: if you split them, Charlie, and you can always recombine those back or sell them if someone contacts you. You don't have to sell it, but if you want to sell it, you could sell it.
You got to remember something. All right, let's say I want to make a nuke. All right, it's the last week of March when I'm setting this all up. 1st of April. Yeah, you can't get the queens up here. We're cold.
But you can get them now.
Got them now? Well, no, I haven't got them yet either.
They still haven't shown up, your queens?
Haven't showed up. And I called and they said, well, they might get here in a week. So maybe what they told you, they're so damn far backed up.
Well, here's the interesting thing. So I was talking to a queen breeder today, and they're having problem getting them from overseas. They're having problems trying to get them pretty much anywhere. There's a shortage of queens in the industry right now. So I'm going to be grafting on Sunday so that when I get back, my queen cells will be capped and I will be good to go. So I'm probably going to graft 30 to 45 cells on Sunday.
Yeah, now like here, this week's going to be cold. It's 50 degrees during the day right now, back into the 50s. Now next week it's going to get into the 70, and during the day it'll be 75 degrees, and up in they said some maybe the 80s.
Yeah,
and all that. So
it's 24 degrees here today. It's supposed to go to 26 to 28 all week, and all last week it was in the high teens, low 20s. So,
that's what, 50?
75.
75 degrees.
We're getting weather like nobody's business. Our leaves are all out here. We're in full bloom. I'm getting pollen bound in my hives. Like, it's just a crazy year. Like, it is just absolutely a crazy year.
Well, I think 14 or 15 queen cells in the incubator right now. What I've so far, and that will be kind of be my
still
next
here.
video. Yeah, video.
My queen mascot's still hanging by me.
There you go.
Is that I've learned for me, and it depends on where you're located, I think, is that my game plan will be to go in and I will equalize, pull that brood out, that cap brood, not only capped. And then I have some weak hives. I'm putting that cap brood with bees in those hives. And then if I don't have a place to put the brood, I'm going to call it a modified demery. Basically, I'm going to put a brood box on top of the honey supers, bring that brood upstairs and leave it up there. It'll either hatch out in that same hive, give those, where I pulled it out, I put empty comb in for her to lay. That will basically kill the swarm impulse. Or at the point in time, I will put that brood upstairs in that top brood box, and then I'll go back there. I know, it's easy access. I'll go back there if I find a hive that needs brood, or if I need brood to make a cell builder, things like that.
You're gonna wish you bought that hive lifter. All them box rotations you're gonna be doing. on that demo with those honey supers.
Well, I mean, here it is. It's May it's
Second.
second of May.
Here
I've
it
already
comes.
got my strong hives is 2 supers of honey already. Nectar. Go ahead, James.
I got queens arriving tomorrow. I thought you were going to give me a hard time for saying. Here it is. It's the 2nd of May, and James still hasn't uploaded his video on the hive lifter.
You know, I mean, I realized one thing. I seen your little short video today. You're getting all your nukes out for sale. You got 60 or more nukes. I think you're selling. The last time I heard, my question is I don't know how you can get it all done by yourself unless you got some help.
He's got an Allen in his back pocket.
Alan has sure been helping a whole bunch. In fact, I just get to the apiary and Alan's sitting here waiting for me. But I'm going to eat this first.
Ice cream.
Yeah, it is so hot.
Ice
like
cream
I said, it's 26 degrees here today.
It's like a McDonald's.
So, Brad and I had a discussion. We were going down the rabbit hole of where the phrase "Bob's your uncle" came from, and I saw it on a World War I documentary where it was about the prime minister or something like that. His name was Robert something, and he named his nephew as like one of his secretaries, right? Like a secretary of state type of deal. So it was a big thing politically at that point about, yep, and Bob's your uncle, right? So that's kind of how you got your job was the nepotism. So that was one philosophy, but then there were some movies and stuff that came out. So it was kind of interesting. I said, but it was a UK thing. And the only place I ever heard it before was when James and Brad started coming on the stream. They started talking about, yep, and Bob's your uncle, and you're off to the races type of deal.
Now, something that I noticed, I was looking through I was out working on a planer today and looking out the door when they opened up the big barn door, and I looked across the road, and I'm pretty darn sure I think my locust trees are just starting to bloom a little bit. You can start to see the bloom starting to open up a little bit. It's like, man, that's early. Everything seems to be at least, well, they've been saying it's about 2 weeks early, and I would say so.
I'm hoping the next week or two, our tallow is going to start blooming out. We got, long buds on it now, but they still sticking straight up, but some of them are starting to curve over. So I'm hoping it ain't going to be long. They'll bloom out and we'll start getting some good nectar in.
Well, we got all our leaves out up here now. The dandelions are starting to come out, so that's a bonus. So, yeah, like I said, it's go time up here.
I'd say about 90% of our dandelions went to seed. We still got a couple of them that's bloomed out right now.
Okay, so this Bob is your uncle and Fanny is your aunt is actually, I know way too much about this damn saying now. I'm just saying. So Bob is your uncle and Fanny is your aunt is actually from a 1950s song that was like in the top 20 in England back in the 50s. So that's where that statement comes from. And there's another one where Fanny is your granny. So know way too much about that.
Right.
Way too much. I told you we went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. But as far, I don't know. That was one thing I wanted to try to do is put this honey supers on and not have to go into that bottom box. And for either I'm not doing something right or something, I'm not really sure, but I'm going back in and I'm equalizing. And then this weekend is going to be one of the first weekends that we have not had rain in 2 months. So
I haven't even looked for the weekend yet. This has been kind of the it was 70 in the 70s here today.
Steve said
we were like 85 today. Now the next 2 days it's supposed to be 88, 89. I think we got a low of like 61 tonight.
Yeah, right now it's 49 degrees.
think we lost James. He's locked up there, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove him out if he comes back.
Yeah, Larry, I've had several metallo trees in the backyard right on the canal line. Bunch of them after that freeze we had, the leaves just kind of curled up, turned black, and started falling off. But the majority of them in my area that I've seen, they still got leaves on it, and the buds are coming out 4 or 5 inches long, but they still kind of standing up for the most part. You got a few of them curving, but once they drop down, they'll start blooming out. I think we'll still do decent.
I also have to say an apology to my Carniolan friends that love the Carnies. My one Carney colony that is on that very first row by the light pole, it's kicking butt. It's got 3 supers on it already, and they're going to work. That's the one that the queen can get through. Is just thin enough where she can come up on the excluder and back down if she wants to. She can go through. So I took that excluder off and put a different excluder on. So hopefully that fixes that. This is the same colony, Charlie, that I was talking about last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from one yellow excluder to another yellow excluder. Now I took that off and I put a Man Lake gray excluder on. So we'll see how that works. But they're working it. They're working all the Randy's saying it's supposed to snow up there, snow and rain up there tonight in Ohio.
I'm glad we don't have all that down here.
Well, actually, in Western Maryland, close to West Virginia, it actually had 3 or 4 inches of snow, a slushy snow, these news people were saying.
Well, it's supposed to get in the 40s tonight here. So we're getting that kind of crazy. And I think, honestly, that could be holding my colonies just back enough, too, from swarming, right? Chills just enough brood that they have to clean them out and go back to work on it. So
now I think it was Brian from Flower Street. He dropped the link in for Rapapsy, Steve Rapapsy, in the single brood chamber management. And actually, he is the guy that actually got me interested in single brood chamber like going on 3 years ago. And he was actually at our local state club meeting back in March. Same presentation that he did in that video, pretty much.
Right.
But he tried to tell me, the cell numbers, you have 77,000 cells in a deep, and, there's plenty of room and this and that. Well, and then I checked it out for 2 mediums, which is 103,000 cells, even more room. And, I said, okay, I'll give all these supers to, the flow wasn't on, but I gave the bees room, and here's the cells. So I'm going to go back. Like I say, in my videos, I said I was going to go back to equalization and, add the supers and stuff like that. And then the adding of the modified Demery box or yeah, I've seen that in that last video here. He says, where if they can't get out, they're inside, well, let's build swarm cells. And that was kind of interesting.
I think when the weather's like this, what they've got is they've got cap brood that's hatching out. So they're confined to the space, but their bee numbers are just growing and growing, right? So they start feeling maybe a little claustrophobic and start drawing out some cells.
Yep, Steve wrote the Swarm Essentials and all.
But
he's actually going to come out with a book called Single Brood Chamber Management Book. He's been talking about that for the last couple of years, but he still hasn't got it done yet.
Is he going to have a picture of you on the front doing this?
No.
I told him earlier, Charlie, I'm working on something for you for that.
And Darren wants to sing. I'll do that in my next video. I'll try to get that video hopefully this weekend when the weather's 75 degrees, they tell me. But basically, before I put the video out, it's this. It's 2 mediums for the brood chamber, queen excluder, multiple honey supers, let's say 2 or 3. And then above that, I will have a medium box because everything's medium. I will bring, what I'm doing now is I will go in, I will pull all the frames that are totally capped over. I don't want any eggs, or you can get away with some older larvae, but then you might have a problem with maybe a volunteer queen cell. But anyway, bring that fully capped brood frames, take that out of the brood box when you're in there, put it over here in this separate medium box, put in the drawn brood comb to replace it, queen excluder, put your honey supers back on, take that box that's got that cap brood in there and put it up on top of your stack. Now shake your bees off, make sure that way, if you can't find the queen and you got so many bees, just shake the bees off. And then put the queen excluder, let's say 3 honey supers, and then put that box that's got the brood in there on top. Now, what I did was I put in foundation frames. I do not want them to fill my brood frame drawn comb out with nectar. I thought that'd be a good idea, having the brood frames up there for a storage area, but then I say, oh, they're going to be up there filling it. So I put in foundation. I says, well, if they're going to do anything, they can draw wax for me. So now I have cap brood frames up on top, and I can do 2 things. I can either leave it there. Now the bees are going to come up and cover it because they're going to smell that brood up there. So they can either leave it there and it can hatch, which will generate more bees, more workforce to bring in more honey. Or I had a couple hives in the middle of my row there, and what I did was I actually went in there. I went through the one hive that was weak, pulled out. Let's say I had 4 combs. Pulled out 4 combs that were empty. Went over there to the hive. I know there's brood combs there. Pulled those brood combs with the bees on it, and dropped it right into that weak hive. Now the queen's not on there because she's down in the bottom. Unless it's Bob's hive.
Wherever she wants to be.
Well, I think you got a queen excluder problem there. I've never used those plastic queen excluders. I think like Bob had a video about them, and there was some problems about the spacing, the opening width, and then the edges. If you looked at them really close, they were sharp. And they didn't want to go through because they were, hurting the bees going through. So I'm big on the metal frames.
The only thing is when they tropicalize them bad boys down, when you go to pull them, you warp them when you pull them up. So
you mean the steels?
The metal ones, yeah.
I don't know. I've actually, to be quite honest with you, the majority of my queen excluders have always been wooden bound. But the price of wooden bound queen excluders now are just astronomical, and I would not recommend. I'd go. And another thing, with a wooden bound, you're going to have more burr comb, where they're going to make a ladder, you might say, ladder comb that goes from the queen excluder up into that honey super. And I find that the metal honey supers are, you don't have as much of that burr comb.
Right.
Hey, you just have to take your hive tool and go all the way around the edges and break it apart. And then
I've only got a few, probably 3 or 4 of the metal ones. Most of them are, I know for a fact, most of mine are the plastic ones. But I just bought those new ones from Man Lake, the gray ones. So I don't know if they're any better or not, but
I know Bob Benny done a video on it's been quite a while back, talking about they had a bad batch from Man Lake, I believe it was, at one time. Now might have been a couple of years ago that they had queens getting by them.
Right.
And they called and got them replaced, and then everything was good.
Right.
Yeah, Garrison, I saw you got stung in that lip.
Okay. That was the guy that got stung.
Yeah,
it was
the same thing. And that is a Carney hive where she said her Carney queens go through excluders, no problem.
Well, the only thing, my question about stung on the lip, obviously you didn't have a veil on. I don't know.
I've had just my veil by itself on, had one get under it, but I hadn't taken
I've had them get, where you forget the zip,
Well, no, I'm talking about just a veil by itself, just a head cover.
Okay.
In fact, whenever
Yeah.
Ricky and Ruth was here last time, I had one up under my veil while we were talking.
So Tim with Southwest Ohio Bees is very close to a milestone. What is it, Lee? How far?
He's going close to 700. Let's see. Right now, he's at 694. So we need 6 more.
So if you haven't subscribed to Southwest Ohio Bees, please go give him a subscribe and push him over that 700. And he's going to give you free stuff. No, he didn't say that. I said that. So don't listen to that. But if you do go and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Tim's usually here. I saw him here earlier. I think he's still here somewhere.
Yeah, he was in here earlier. He had to go check the chickens, and I think he said something about some foxes. I'm going to drop a link to his channel
Foxes
here
or
in the comments.
coyotes or something.
It may have been coyotes. I know he had something getting by the chickens.
But yeah, we try to help push people over the limit there when we can. You know, kind of like those Google reviews. One person out of here. Let me see. We're at 411 now. So since I said it, 2 people have gone, and only one of them's been from here. So that's a little disappointing.
What's
that?
that?
Disappointing. These Google reviews I need for work.
Oh,
so that helps. You'd be surprised how many people that I go to sit in front of to talk to them about their pest control, and they say, "You guys had the best Google reviews on the internet that we saw." You know, when they search local pest control. So I'm like, cool. And so it does help, especially when they're searching local. Getting stung even. Hey, it's that first sting of the year is the best one. Mine just happens every day of the year, pretty much. But yeah, so I mean, I can't put up a link to the Google review. I tried to, but it was like 259 characters, and I think the comment will only let you put 200. So you just got to Google Dotson, DODSON pest control, West Columbia, South Carolina, and then it'll pop up the little search thing, and then 5-star it. You got to 5-star it and put my name in there somewhere. Someone actually gave one for one of the guys there today that said, I think it said Travis is the Tom Brady of pest control. I thought that was hilarious. But it was pretty funny. Forgot to close the zipper. Yeah, sometimes if you don't get that zipper right here, zip just right, they'll just crawl right in.
That's on Google, you'll find that, or on the
just do
actual
a
website?
Google search of Dodson Pest Control, West Columbia, South Carolina.
I just don't see where it says reviews.
You see where it's got it says Dodson Pest Control on the side, and it says 411 Google reviews?
Nope.
Did you Google search it, or you just searched it?
Damn Bing. Let's see.
Well, there's the problem. Hard to get a Google review on Bing. So, Charlie, you look deep in thought right now.
I'm trying to get my screen arranged.
So I'm running out of drawn honey supers. I'm definitely out of. So
just
now
put a whole box of 10 foundations in there and let it go. It's what I did.
Well, some of them that by next week, hopefully I can start pulling some of those boxes that they're working on this week out of there. And
it depends on whether, I guess they're capped.
They're heavy. I know the boxes are really heavy.
Oh yeah. I've got these hives that are really packed full of bees. I got at least 3 supers on each one of them, I think. And they got at least two and a half supers in
I don't even feel like our flow is really hit here yet.
not here. It's going to hit the here. Let's see.
I've got
The majority of mine have got at least
it's supposed to rain
2.
here Saturday again.
It's finally going to get cleared off. I got 1, 2. I got 2 there.
DC, I like the premiere myself if I can be in front of it and chat in the comments when I'm doing it.
Some of them I got 3, and most of them, most of the heavy ones I got are really, high in number of bee numbers, is at least 2 supers.
And I started doing the under super. I under supered, not under the brood box super like some people put on their videos, but under the honey supers. On top of the brood box, under the honey supers.
Yeah, but I've never I put a empty, drawn comb honey super on top of the queen excluder. And then because I had so many bees this year, I put a second honey super on. Guess where they put the honey at? They put it up in the top. They didn't put it right there at the queen excluder. They moved it all the way up top.
Really?
So, yeah. And I'm like, that don't make,
Well, my thought was when I put it under, I've got 2 supers over it, that all those bees from up top have to walk back down through the empty one to go out. So they will realize there's more space right there. I'm hoping. I don't know. I mean, I know, I know it's too much work as well when you're checking them, but my buddy Lee does it that way, so I figured I would give it a shot under super.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes a difference or not.
Yeah.
I know Russell I had it on top and they weren't moving up, but when I
just like it because to me they go past that new super to try to finish working and filling in that existing super. So it gets them, hey, we got something else here to work on, and then they start working on it. If you put it above a super, they're still going to work it, but it takes them more time to realize, hey, we got.
Well, Russell says he does his bees do the same as mine. Now the only thing I can think of is that in a hollow tree or whatever, they kind of work from the high, they work down.
Right.
And I'm wondering whether or not they're going to go all the way up to the top, put all the honey up there, and then keep filling downward.
Well, you saw where Mr. Ed said he doesn't even rotate his brood boxes anymore. He said in a tree, they don't rotate their brood box. They just do it, So.
Well, that was more of a swarm prevention type of thing, but it's like Brian put that. I was listening to Steve's thing. I'm gonna see if they did anything different with Steve Rapapsy up in Pennsylvania. He's close to
it's still in his old video. It's still in there.
It's still in there. I have not had time off of work to
get out. Dude, you got to pull it out just to take a photo of what they've done to that thing.
Oh, I took one already. I done it on video. They've drawn out all the foundation that's around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steve lives up there close to Dan Weaver, which he lives just south of Pittsburgh, and Steve lives in Pittsburgh, PA. But let's see, where was I going? Oh, he was saying in his presentation, and this is true. If you have, let's say, deep boxes, and you're running 2 deep brood chambers, and then your honey supers above. And I did that in the past years, and you'll find that in that top deep brood chamber, they'll have more or less a chimney of brood. I'll say the middle 5 to 6 frames up the middle, and then on either side will be honey. And then if they start hatching out, she'll start to backfill more so in the bottom chamber and sometimes in the top chamber. And that's where the single brood chamber comes in, is the fact that she lays up everything in that brood chamber. So you force them or trick them to push everything upstairs in the honey super. So you're probably going to gain an extra 30 or 40 pounds of honey out of that brood chamber and all that. And they were talking about lifting that secondary brood chamber box, that deep box off being heavy. And I've done that. That's why I went to mediums, because they were almost like 100 pounds. How's Mark Miller doing?
I'm doing good,
Pretty
Charlie.
good.
Look like
How are
Mark got a
y'all?
look like Mark got a little hot in the shop there.
I've been out working.
Is it warm where you're at and sunny?
It's pretty nice. The wind's blowing terrible. It's supposed to rain every day next week.
Is that right?
Yep.
It's
We've
finally
got
going to dry up here.
we got a cold ball on that end of the country and a cold ball on that end of the country, and then we got a heat wave right in the middle. And it's going to cause a lot of trouble this next week.
Yeah, because here it rained and showered today on and off. No, I mean, nothing real steady, just, a cloud would come across and rain. At the high, I'll say, is maybe 52 degrees today. And anyway, I was going to go to the whatever it was. Every Wednesday is 53 is the high, 58 for Thursday, 63 for Friday, and Saturday 66. But I think there's going to be closer to 75 is what they say on the news locally. But
Yeah. Our nectar flow is just really getting started, but it's going to rain every day next week. It's fixing to shut it down. It'll be after the rain then. If it's just showers, it'll be okay. If it don't rain all day, every day.
Yeah. Now, Brian from Flower Street, I think he's talking about Steve Rapapsi's graphic, and it's the same one, same presentation I saw back in March. What he's talking about is that normally the graphic, I'm going to say it looks kind of like a football, where let's say you've got two brood chambers, and it goes up around where you have half of the ball, top of the ball up in the secondary brood chamber, and the other part down in the bottom brood chamber. But then when you do a single brood chamber, instead of going up and down this way, it goes sideways. It's going out and around, kind of oblong this way across that deep box. And which, that's how how she lays and stuff like that. But back to the equalization, like I say, the last 2 years, I always went in there. Yeah, it was a lot of work. Went in, equalized the average honey crop per hive around here where I live, because we don't have a tremendous amount of forage, depending where you live. It's about 50 pounds, maybe 60 pounds per hive. And yeah, there you go. Vertical, he knows his words better than me. Of course, he's a teacher. He can.
I just like the way you say some of your words, like chimley.
Yeah, I heard that a while ago. Chimley.
A chimley.
Did he wash that chimley?
No, you wash the bee. Yeah.
You wash the bees in the Pacific location.
Well, you use that Varroa washer. I don't know how you're supposed to say. Well, anyway, where was I? You got me off track now. What was I thinking about?
Well, I had 22 virgins in my hand when I started in the apiary a while ago when I got home. And I come back with 4. And most of them was old queens that I'd split earlier, and I put them in nukes, right? Just to build me a nuke up. So most of them, I killed the queen and put virgins in. We're going to see what happens.
Type of water.
Yeah, water. I guess I'm supposed to say water.
Water. I actually went out to one of my colonies that I had grafted a queen from, one of my queen mating nukes, that I had grafted a queen and put her in, and she laid it up, and I moved her to another colony and came back, and guess what I found in that colony today? Her daughter running around in there doing her thing. So I got a bonus queen out there right now.
Cool.
So she just has a small, tiny cluster to work with, but
yeah. But well, I know what it was. What I was talking about was the our honey flow here. The average hive with a double, with not doing all that work is about 50 pounds, maybe 60. And I'm averaging, last year was 845 pounds of honey out of 10. Let's see. Yeah, out of 10 hives, I think. And I'm up to 12 high. I went up to 12 highs. It's cutting back on my nukes a little bit. And the year before that was 1,100 pounds. Now I did have about 12 hives because I had a couple hives at somebody else's place, and and then that was probably with some honey out of these nukes behind me too, because they'll make honey. And but what I'm getting at is that I'm doing all this extra work, but I'm averaging closer to 80 to 100 pounds per hive, and I'm I've went from 500-600 pounds to 1,000 pounds or close to it. And if the guys that didn't cut the trees back, which were my locust trees last year, they cut them back on the power lines, I think I could have got 1,000 pounds of honey out of them. So we'll see.
Well, right now, all of my drawn comb that I had in honey supers it's on colonies already and being filled up. So if I pull those, I've at least matched what I got last year. And I've got some colonies that don't even have a super on them yet because I'm trying to let their bees get big enough in that deep before I drop them on it, right? So Tim just needs one more sub to hit 700.
Yeah, he's coming up on my coattails.
I just need to make more videos, but it's been raining every weekend.
Yeah.
And so live
I did that little short of that swarm that I caught, then it actually decided to leave. Now the other swarm that I didn't focus in on, that one stayed as far as I know. And
yep, I've tried the Beaver frames, but I waxed them all. So I mean, I've matter of fact, today I was going to go in and get some more plastic frames. I'm like, hell, I don't need to walk all the way inside. I got 2 supers full of them right over here. Just grabbed them out, moved them. They're on any colony in the apiary that needed them. They're not on any specific one right now. And Grammy needs 9 to make 400. We're
cool.
So we're getting up close there.
Lisa's doing a great job of.
She's making a lot of videos too.
She's making a lot of videos, and she's doing, she's learning, with grafting and things like that. A lot of
Tim just hit 700.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Now we need to get Lisa up to her 400. I'm
going to lock the bees up. Oh, you mean the swarms? Okay. Yeah. Well, what happened there was it was one of my swarms, and I was in a hurry. I had to be at a bee club meeting or get together actually. And I figured, well, it was going to be dark and they would stay in there, overnight. And I went out there, came back at 8:30 at night with my headlights on, and I went and moved a box, and there was no bees in the box. Now the other set of bees, I went back out there at 7 a.m, moved them. The bees were in the box, gave them some juice to drink and all that stuff. And then, by the time I did all that, here comes the rainstorm that it rained all day Sunday. So they naturally stayed in the box, I guess you might say there.
It was cold enough last night that when I went to work this morning, there was not usually you'll have a few bees on the landing board and in the doorway at least. Not this morning. This morning they were clustered is where they were. they were, if it gets below that 52 around here, they're all huddled up, not trying to come out and play those
It's been cold. They've been in the house and all. So hopefully, like I say, I need a Saturday after. I usually work Saturday mornings. I need a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday to get out there and get everything looked over. I found a couple virgins. I've left queen cells in my nukes that I had sold off the queen in one box of bees. And I've found 2 virgins. And there's a couple of them where I've seen, Mark, you can tell me whether I got my thoughts right here, where I had some queen cells, multiple queen cells in a hive, but now they're starting, and you can see where they're tearing the sides off of them or tearing them down. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's a virgin queen in this hive with that, showing that evidence. I haven't found her, but she's in there somewheres.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you can also tell, I always find, when they got queen or somebody in there, they're very calm. They don't have a lot of noise about them, and they're calm, and they're not running around on the comb and stuff like that. You kind of get the characteristics of that.
Yeah, she's in there.
Did you see what Flower Street put up?
What's that?
He said he's been reading Walt Wright's Principle of Nectar Management. Interesting take on spring buildup and swarm impulse into nectar storage impulse.
Who's Walt Wright? Is he an old guy that's dead or somebody's?
He's Walt Disney's brother.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know. I had this here quote, EAS Master Beekeeper, and he said, have you read these papers by somebody? I forget what his name is. They were written 80 some years ago. The guy's passed away. And where you put on, I don't know, let's say 6 supers for your honey. You just stack them all on that one hive and walk away, and they'll come back.
What part of the country was he from?
Well, that's what, all right. Number one, where did he live? Number two, all right, 80 years ago, things were a hell of a lot different when it came to forage for your bees. We have less now than we've ever did.
80 years ago, they didn't even have all these pesticides, did they?
Not right. Exactly.
They might have been using DDT back then.
Yeah.
But we were all behind the trucks dancing in the clouds of poison.
Yeah. But it's just like right now, you have neonicotinoids, which is a pesticide or insecticide. That's what you really should call it, around the seed. And then of course it makes the plant toxic to any bug that bites it. And it's like the guy that he was a commercial beekeeper down in the deep south. Benny had him on one of his videos, and he said when they were spraying the cotton with insecticide, it was killing his bees. When they came out with neonicotinoid laced cotton plants, then the bee kill was almost nothing, because they're not spraying insecticide. They might spray a fungicide, but that's about it. And that's really the way it is today. They're not spraying insecticides like they once did. And of course, neonicotinoids have been getting a bum rap. There is no real evidence that they actually hurt the bees scientifically. Might be wrong, but
wait a minute. Did they say Walter White or Walter Wright from Breaking Bad?
Brian said he was from Tennessee.
No, someone just put that Brian C. said he died in 2016. Let's see. I hear Harry.
Who's Harry?
The peacock.
Huh?
Peacock.
I'm figuring she's talking about the peacock.
I haven't heard any. Mike's got his mic muted. Mark's got his
mic muted.
Oh yeah, I meant to tell you something. Charlie, I called you Bob the other night. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
That's because Bob's his uncle.
I was just tired, man. I was beat. I
I
was
don't
sorry
remember-
about that.
I don't remember that. Hmm.
Well, good. I do.
Walter White.
I enjoy your live stream, showing us your cells, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could have a cell builder like that, but I'll tell you,
you can do it.
I watched Cayman's little video there, showed his cell builder, and I'm like, you see all these other videos, and I'm looking at Cayman's, and I'm like, that's a cell builder, where it's just a sea of bees on top of them frames, and that's why he's got a great, ratio of, let's say, 95% or better
Right.
and all. But
And they're well fed.
yeah, I think there's some tricks that I think, Bob, didn't you do that? Was where you fed them sugar water and pollen patties prior to putting the grafting in?
Hell no, I had it on there while it was on there.
Oh, I do too.
Prior
but-
and while.
Yeah.
yeah, I hear
If they want it, it's there. They can get, and that was, if you watch Cayman's video tonight, and they were talking about feeding, and there was a lot of questions that people were asking. Well, when do you feed, and when is it too much? So, like with the cell builder, yep, you have pollen, right? You have a pollen frame in there, but what's it hurt if you put a pollen patty on it? Because the nurse bees can just go right up and eat the pollen patty, right? And then it still leaves that pollen frame right there next to those broods, so they can eat if they need to and go right back to feeding the bees or feeding the queens. So I don't think it's
what's to say too, the pollen that they had collected, maybe that was a lower protein source, but that was all available at the time, and now you're putting a higher protein source on their farm and they have better nutrition.
Could be. You don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's like it's so cold this week, and I think it's next weekend. I won't be able to go on Friday night.
I saw my first dragonfly in the yard today.
I don't know what those
I
are.
was out there with a 22 trying to take him out. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you hear Charlie there? He said he don't know what that is.
A dragonfly?
I guess that's around the water, isn't it? And that
You
one of
don't
them
have dragonflies over there?
the double wing helicopters,
Yeah, exactly what
I've
it is.
seen them around my pond in late summer.
Yeah, they love to eat bees. That right there, Charlie.
Yeah, I've seen them. Well, we don't have a high population of them or anything like that.
I've seen, I think, one or two in the yard, and I've seen a couple at work, but they hadn't been bad.
Has anyone but me gone to Sam's Club and bought that big bag of ortho granules for grubs? And it says it kills fleas, grubs. You bought 2 of them, Mark?
Yep.
And then that rain just waters it right into the soil and kills whatever's down in there. So I'm hoping it kills any hive beetle larvae that'll go down in there.
I believe it will. Isn't that the same stuff that Del Plain said on Bob Benny's video?
I don't know what they're using, GrubX or something. This was ortho something, but it was just granules, and it was a big black bag, like a 40-pound black bag for like $26 or something like that. And I was
now I hear the peacock.
See, that's what I use right there. Just a spectricide that I put on the ground, and it's the granules. But it's supposed to kill like 100 different insects.
that's basically the same stuff that I got, but it was by Ortho.
But that one bag is supposed to treat 25,000 square foot. Yeah. Now, my hive stands, I believe I can't remember, it's 12 foot or 14 foot 4x4s. And then my cinder blocks, I cover the area under that and then about 8 foot out on all sides. And I use a full bag in that area.
Yeah, Dan talked about farmer I know what he's doing. He's killing the ground cover with Roundup.
So you don't have to weed it.
Well, he'll do that. He'll kill it up with Roundup or one of those types of things, and then he's going to no-till corn or something in there. But crown fetch, I guess that's a blooming type of plant the bees like.
Well, I called my realtor about that property today.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I know that property. I was in it a year ago. You don't want that property." I'm like, "Well, why don't I want that property?" She said, "Well, you'd basically have to rebuild the whole place. Wiring, plumbing, AC, everything."
It's called a D8.
Yeah, and she said, "Yeah, dozer." She said that
that's the size of a bulldozer.
She said, if I'm not mistaken, she said it was also leaning in one spot, like the foundation had settled on one spot. So I was like, "Yep, you've told me enough. Never mind, move on." So, but that's kind of the good thing is if I could have pulled that off.
The only thing you could have done in that situation there is take the land in consideration for the price and then deduct a little bit off the land price for the demolition price.
For the cleanup.
Yeah. Well,
because you're gonna have to haul it away and get rid of it to a dump or someplace, and
well,
you're gonna have to start all over again.
It'd be pretty cheap to get rid of. I mean, how much is 5 gallons of diesel in a lighter?
Well, you know what you do is you donate that house to your local volunteer fire department as a burn house.
There you go.
And they can come in and they can use it as a practice tool and they can burn it down legally.
And then would that be tax deductible since you donated to the fire department?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know about that part of it. Well, I've done that before. It's always fun.
Well, with that property, because of the size of the lot, I mean, it's 3 acres. It's got a colonial house on it, right? If you could redo that, you could have doubled to triple your value in the property.
It's just too far gone.
Too much work for someone like me.
Well, either cut back on deductions.
Just like a friend.
They always cut back on deductions and add on their side.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even think you can deduct your church donations anymore.
No, they're trying to, you got to pay for COVID and everything else they're giving away.
Yeah.
Was that Ortho Bug Clear? I think it is. The one that we got from Sam's. It's a big black bag.
The one I got by was Grobex.
Oh, you got the Grobex?
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
Sharon says she uses that Tridicide I use plus the Grubex, and it took about 6 weeks, but she noticed a difference in the hive beetle population. See, I'm surprised I'm surprised down here where I'm at. Usually we have a worse time with hive beetles versus varroa mites. Let's see. And here at my number 4 yard, let me pull this up.
Yeah, Tim says there's no tax deduction, just fun for the fire department.
Now, most of the time they say if like your hives are in the woods a little bit or whatever, you have a higher chance of hive beetles. Those are about 50, 60 foot into the woods. And I've seen, I think, maybe 1 hive beetle out of those hives total.
Knock on wood, I haven't seen that many this year either, but that could be the cumulative effect of last year's stuff that I did to keep the populations down, and now the new stuff that we put down.
Lee, with them in the woods like that, does it slow them down a little bit compared to being in the sun?
This is going to be the first full year that I've had those there. Putting supers on, I just put them in last year.
I can probably answer that question for you.
But I mean, they're aimed south. I'm looking at it from the north side looking south, so the entrance is on the back side of that. That way, when I walk up, I'm not in the entrance flight path.
Yeah.
And I mean, they fly straight out. They got a little opening. They go straight through the trees. I mean, they just busy as can be.
What about the way my sun comes up? My hives are in the shade until the sun comes up over the trees in the house over there. And you can tell as the sun starts hitting my colonies, they start getting active. Until that sun hits those colonies, they're not very busy.
It
once
slows
that
them
point-
down a little bit, don't
A
it?
little bit, yep. And I think
Yeah.
it might just be probably the temperature difference from when the sun hits them.
Yeah, they'll follow. I mean, the bees will actually follow the sun inside the hive. If the sun's setting, on one side of the hive, that's where you're going to find all the bees over there, sucking in the radiant heat.
Yeah, James, that swarm trap that I had sitting there, that was actually there before I put the hives there. I just set a swarm trap out in case I got some bees before everything got moved there, and I just hadn't moved the trap out yet.
My yard, I used it had 2 hive beetles. The yard I did not treat had 20 hive beetles in one of his hives. Whoa. Yeah, I haven't seen but a couple hive beetles this year so far. And last year was peppermint. And I put down, I did several things, not just the peppermint, but I put down the black tarp. I put down diatomaceous earth down there. This year I put granules out. And then it's rained, so it's put that into the dirt, hopefully right there. Or the sand as we have here. Not so much dirt, but
yeah, well, I think that's a big difference is the type of soil you got. Where, like you say, it's sandy ground.
mm-hmm.
They can burrow down in there and pupate and all that stuff.
Yep.
Real easy.
The
Perfect for them. Perfect environment.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, I hate to jump out of here earlier, but my Benadryl, I can feel it trying to kick my butt right now. So I'm going to have to duck on out and get ready for bed. Try to get rid of this poison ivy.
See his face is all swollen up, his cheeks, nose, all that.
All red, itching.
How'd you get that in that crane cab?
I got out in the yard the other day and done a little yard work in the evening when I got home. So I don't know if it was from doing yard work or the dog was running around in the yard following me too, and I got poison ivy in the back. So I don't know if he got in it, and then I was playing with him and got it on me.
It's possible.
But it ain't no fun. But I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll catch y'all later.
All right, Lee,
Night,
we'll
Lee.
talk to you later, buddy.
See you, Lee.
But the tarp under her hive scene. Yep. I think anything that can break the cycle definitely helps with the hive beetles. I think you got to go full out when you got them down here, like we do down here. You got to do everything you can.
Yeah, and don't let up. Don't let up. Just keep going.
And it'll help out. So you haven't even thought about any honey supers yet, then, have you, Mark?
I about got all of the ones I got on.
Oh, really? You already put them on?
Hey,
Yeah.
I would say you're probably 6 to 8 weeks ahead of us.
Ahead? He just came out of the cold weather.
The weather sucks. I'm telling you. We're just now starting to get nectar.
Okay.
Just now. And
I'm
like I said, it's
seeing
supposed
it.
to rain every day. The winds blowed 40 mile an hour a day.
Yeah, I'm gauging by all them queens you did, and you must have had some nice warm weather for them to work them queens. I would have thought.
I'm having decent success on mating this year. It's not been bad. It ain't been terrible, but I'm sure the weather has ruined some of it. I don't know. We'll see. Each round is different.
Yeah, but all in all, I mean, like we counted up last week, 125 queens out of one box. Pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm not doing all of them. Not for me.
Yeah.
How many of them hit the mail already?
None. I hadn't done any mail orders.
Oh, really? It's all
I'm
pickup?
I'm waiting on boxes to come in from Man Lake. The little battery boxes.
You'll be waiting for a while, I think.
Yeah,
We'll
they have
see.
not been very fast for me lately either.
Yeah.
I know that the warehouse up there where what's his name? Carl is, it's like a ghost town. And that's first. I mean, I didn't see it, but my friend went up there, and there's no staff there. There's nothing on the shelves.
What did your have you talked to your other guy about me getting those frames from him?
Yeah, he's kind of figuring out how he's going to ship them and everything. And I'll see him this weekend and get a better hand. I'll do a visual and all that stuff first.
The next week, Steve's going to be down here from Daisy's Honey, and James is going to be down here during the week. So,
well, next week I'll be off. I will not have the Friday night chat. I got to go to West Virginia for a college graduation.
What you got there?
He's got his.
I got 42. That's the ones I pulled up Friday. I come on your show and showed you, Charlie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's them. And that's what virgins I have left.
Now, with your virgins, are just the virgin of no attendance, correct?
Yeah, there's attendants in there.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. Can you see?
Yep.
There's one dead right there.
Now, what's that yellow thing right there?
That's the top to the
scale.
incubator.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so that's like a tote type incubator.
Yeah, it's just it's a cheap plastic one.
You Amazon it?
No, it ain't got handles on it. Just plastic.
So did you buy it at Amazon?
Yep. A couple to 3 years ago, you can buy them. They're not very high. They're pretty accurate.
Yeah, as far as me, I pull. I don't know. I mean, our honey season is April, May, and June, and this year I'm gonna, as soon as I have cap frames, I'm pulling them. That way, I'm gonna probably start by July 1. Our honey season is completely over. And as far as the fall go, we'll have some goldenrod. And is that a nectar flow? Not really. Now, we might have the spotter and lanternfly, which most of you guys don't even know what that is. It's a pest that
makes the poop honey.
Makes the poop honey from China. And that came in here last year pretty strong as far as the bug. And the bees filled up a super honey in my hives in August. So, which was fine. They were eating on that this come spring. And then I also fed them too. But yeah, I only get one honey harvest. That's it. I don't get any fall. Now, a friend of mine lives 20 miles away, lives closer to Susquehanna River, a little more out in the country where there's a lot of forest and woods and things like that for, hundreds of square miles. Yeah, he gets a fall flow and all. But that's where I'm at.
Mark, don't you be on the chat. You need to be working bees so you can bring them up here.
It's dark. I can't go out there now.
No, I'm talking about Mark Andrews. That's Sourwood Branch Bee Farm.
Oh, okay.
He's supposed to be bringing me some bees. I'm like, come on. You got to get them. I got to get the nectar flow. They got to get this nectar flow so they can grow into nice big colonies before I'm feeding them all winter long.
Yeah, Tim, where he lives, he's kind of in the same, what do you call it? Growing area, I guess you would call it. And they kind of get the same kind of weather we get most of the time. Of course, I think Brian from Castle Hives, he's closer to those lake effect snow type things. All that. You were saying, what was it? Stream Team was on last night or something?
No, they so Bruce was over on Grayson's channel, and he accidentally he was setting up the stream for tomorrow night, and he accidentally had it dated for last night. So it said Stream Team was going live at 8, but they didn't. So
yeah.
So it is what it is. And then Lee and I were sitting here waiting, and we designed the label for the honey rustler. And while we were sitting around, we actually got in the StreamYard, and we were sitting back here, and he's like, okay, I can do this. And he got the words and stuff off of the honey rustler label, so I could use that background and the character and adjust the size, and then I put the wording and everything on it. So, and ordered, and I paid, right? So I paid for the labels. There it is.
Yeah.
Hey, see, you can tell that's like label number, the second wave of labels I got, because the first wave of labels I got, this is my original bottle. Look how janky it looks already from being in my toolbox and in my truck and everywhere else, thrown in the back of the bed and everything else. It's already gotten, this is the OG bottle. It's like, looks like hell, but still works. And you didn't see them. Were you on when we showed the other label, the new label?
I seen it. I didn't see it. I was laying down. Back and give me problems.
All right, so this is the new label for the. I'll make it big. Oh, that didn't do much, did it? So, I like this font for Honey Rustler because it looks like capped honey. So, I just thought it was neat looking. I wish I could have changed the background color, but make it look a little bit different. But, yep, that's what we got right now.
All right, so you got Honey Rustler, and then you got Swarm Rustler.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about getting the idea of what it's used for across to the public.
Look at Paul. Paul called me. Bob called me a racist on Sunday night's chat.
I remember that.
Hey, but you made me bite my tongue on the live stream before that when you started talking about my daughter and her baby daddy. Them was fighting words on that one. Bring my family into it, and then we're gonna get down and dirty with it. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's the new label. So concentrate, and it's available for pre-sale. If anybody wants to pre-order it, I've got labels on the way. I'll have it mixed and bottled this weekend. And that way, when the label comes in, I can pack them up and send them out. So there you go.
Is that to put on top of the honey supers to run them out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put on the fume board.
So concentrate, though. So you'll take half of this and those spray bottles you get at Lowe's that are like 32 ounces or whatever.
Right.
So you'll just put half of one of these in that and fill it up with water and shake it, and then use that as the concentrate. That way you're not paying to ship a full bottle and that weight. You're just paying to ship a smaller bottle.
So that it's in a dry form in a bag?
No.
It'll be an oily mixture. And you'll just put half of that in your spray bottle, fill it up with water, shake it up real good, and go to town. Good to go.
Does it have an expiration date on it?
I'm going to say no, because I'm using some stuff that's supposed to prolong that and also keep any funguses from growing in the mixture with the water. So it shouldn't. I put 2 years on the swarm lure, and it's using some of the same stuff that's in the same swarm lure. So I'm going to say at least 2 years. But yeah, the Zep spray bottle will work fine. As long as you get a better one than I get, because for some reason the Zep bottles, if they turn on the side, they like to leak. So just make sure it's standing up. You should be good on that. DC, I need to rebuild my computer. Let me see. I guess I'll see only 48%. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I missed a bunch. See what happens when Lee leaves? The comments go to crap right away. All right, Lisa, have a good night. You're probably already gone, but have a good night if I missed it. But yeah, so that's the people wanted it, so that was the next thing. And we'll see how
What's your
big
cost on it, Bob?
$29.
$29.
But we broke the math down. So everyone's going to say, well, that's expensive. Yep. When you look at the dollar amount, it is compared to what's out there. But when you look what you're getting for that amount, you're getting almost 5 times as much finished product as the other stuff. So Be Quick, we figured out was $2.60. It's $17.95 for 8 ounces. So $17.95 divided by 8, and it's finished, right? You use that straight out of the bottle. It's $2.24 an ounce. My 2-ounce bottle will make 64 ounces of finished product. So if you were paying $2.24 an ounce for my product, and I was doing it in bottles, it would be looking at $144. So you're getting a lot more product for a little bit more money.
Are you going to demonstrate it for us?
I will. For you, anything, Mark. I use it all the time. I've got a Zep bottle mixed with it. I've been using it, especially on like when I go shake a swarm, right? So I'll shake a swarm, and you know how they like to go back to that branch? Well, I'll shake them off the branch and then spray this on the branch, and they don't want to go back to that branch. So they just kind of swarm down. So,
well, that's actually a tool.
Yeah, I use it all the time. I use it like in a friend of mine called me out for a cutout department. Cutout. I'm cutout, and I was looking at R&D department in the chat. Sorry, a cutout, and I went out to her house. And she said, we just noticed these bees coming there. And there was just like, she said they had been there for a couple days, but it really looked like scouts. But I didn't know because I couldn't see in the wall, right? So I just, I sprayed it with it. And the forager stopped. And then I told her, well, I can come out next week and we'll get up in there and get them out. And she text me back later in the week. She says, well, I don't see any more bees coming out of there since you were here. And the only thing I did was look at them and spray it. And they decided that was not their home and they left. So if it was foragers, it discouraged them. And it does not smell like ass like some of them out there, or vomit.
That could be good and that could be bad too, though, Bob. You need to demonstrate it there.
Okay. I'll see if I can drive some bees out of my honey super for y'all.
Because you're only going to leave it on there, what? 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just a few minutes and that's it.
Yeah.
It smells like almonds, right?
Yeah. Smells like
all right.
almonds.
They're asking what the price per ounce is. So you can make it's
okay,
$30.
So at $29.99,
yeah,
we'll say $30. We'll round it up, divide it by 64. You end up at 47 cents an ounce finished product.
And you get 64. Is that 2 bottlefuls at 64 ounces, or is that?
Yep. So one of these will fill 2 of those squirt bottles.
And how much finished product can you get out of that bottle? How many ounces?
64.
64 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got a bottle there that's actually a 32-ounce bottle. So I mean,
if you've got a 12-ounce
bottle, the squirt bottle's 32 ounces, right?
Yeah, I believe that big squirt bottle's 32 ounces. If not, I mean, I'm telling you right now, one of these will make 64. So whatever, if you got a 12-ounce bottle or whatever, you just have to divide it. How many times 64 go in there and just divide it up, kind of. So I know it's a pain in the ass. There's no measurement on it. There's no special little cup. But I can do all those things if you want to pay more money for it. But if you're ingenious like I am and can say, that's about half of that, I'm good, or hey, I'm only making a half a bottle, so yeah, about half of a half. That's about a quarter. We'll put about that much.
Just get a measurement cup. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drone cologne, drives the females away.
I think I can figure it out, Bob.
Yeah, I know you can. But you'd be surprised some of the questions I get.
See you, Dan.
So yeah, we're just it is what it is, man. That's what it is. So my thought was, so as developing the business part of it, right? So obviously springtime, right? That's a springtime product. Spring, and then that'll be more of the summer. And then what do we do in the fall? Hey, I got Apis Biologics over here, right? So, I mean, it's like just trying to make something that goes. Yes, correct.
You're getting your hustle ready.
I'm trying to, because I'm definitely noticing the swarm lure sales slowing down over on Amazon. And, there's a lot of stores that are carrying my swarm lure across the country right now. So people can buy it from other places other than me. I mean, I
really like them ink pens and pens, man. They're nice. I've
been selling a lot of those.
Love them. I'm missing one. It's in my pocket, I
think. Your yellow one?
Yeah. I've been marking virgins, y'all. I hadn't done that.
You gonna give it a shot?
Yeah, and I'm liking it.
It's easy, isn't it? They walk out, you grab them, doop, walk them back in.
That part ain't no problem. I can go out there and check a nuke now. I see her, boom, there she is. I know she's there.
Yep.
So when you have that virgin, do you just kind of hold her in between you do the leg thing, or do you do?
I forgot Charlie's chicken about picking up with his bare hands.
Yeah, I agree. Not chicken. I just don't want to hurt her.
Chicken. That's chicken. Just pick her up. You know what I figured out? And you guys might tell me I'm full of crap, but when I pick a queen up by her wings, I've never worried about her pulling her own wing off trying to get away. I don't think it's physically possible for them to do that. Have you ever had one wing pull off when you grab them by the wings, or a leg come off when you grab them by the legs? Or about the biggest thing you got to worry about, Charlie, is accidentally putting too much pressure on her.
Yeah, you got to watch when they're freshly hatched. They're still real tender.
They're like raisins.
yeah, and you just got to hold them real soft and get them worked right where you need them.
When they get to this age, they get stiff. When they've been sitting on my desk for 3 days.
Get it just right, and then be gentle. They're soft.
Yeah, I've tried the drone thing, but
look, Matt done put ½ ounce per pint. Hey, you guys did the math on that. I believe you. I haven't mixed it up yet. I'm gonna show you. I've got several of these bottles, and I'm not going to open it because it'll show the secret sauce, but the several of these bottles to go in the mixture. So, and this comes from lab supply companies, guys. It doesn't come from like, oh, Bob went down to Walmart and bought, this or that. Now, stuff I buy comes from lab supply companies. So we gotta get the good stuff. Buy $1,000 breeder queen and practice with her, Charlie. Bet you there's no way you squeeze her too hard. I wouldn't even touch her, dude. I'd be afraid to even go in there.
I don't think I could ever spend that kind of money for a bug.
Practice on drones, then workers, then on queens. You know, I haven't picked up a worker unless it was on accident. And
They're easy.
usually when I do, I get stung.
After
Usually
you
when
do
I'm,
it for a while, you can pick 2 of them up at a time and stick them in that little cage. It's easy.
usually I
just
find them
cheat,
when they
man.
get their head stuck down in the comb. That's when you grab them, stick them in the
Yeah.
cage.
I just cheat. I just grab the queen, the JZBZ cage when it's plugged up, and pop that little queen excluder off the end, set it on the top, and the bees will go in there with her, and then you just put a little piece of tape over the bottom of it, and
That's the way to do it.
she's got it. She's got attendance, and I haven't had to do nothing with them.
As long as it works, right?
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
So the only thing I'm worried about with this stuff is if I'm not going to try it on my bottling line because it's concentrated. If I overflow or underflow or spill it, I'm wasting a shit ton of money just running out on the table. So
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to hand fill these first ones. Not to say that I won't go ahead and bottle up the bottles, but I figured if you're, I mean, could you imagine 32 ounces of liquid? I would have to have a special box because it'd have to be a bigger box, and it would have to have more packing. It weighs more, which means the shipping's going to be higher. So I just figured the concentrate would be the way to go. So we'll see. See how it goes.
There's Carl.
There's Carl. Can do it. Suck the workers' bees with a straw. Frank, you always have like the off the wall way to do things. I guess you could just stick the straw to her and hold the end, right? Like you used to do the water or out of your glass. You could hold it by holding your finger on the end of it and then let it go. Let me see. I'd let them mark it when I buy her. Yeah, but then you're spending like $5 extra to get the queen marked. See, Mark, now you need to charge $5 extra for every marked queen. And,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and by the way, all queens come marked. So, well, I don't want her marked. Well, she's marked already. You can take this one; it's $5 more, or you'll have to wait till the next round.
Right.
Yours.
Take it or leave it.
Yep. Or for this one, I'll give you $2.50 off.
Yeah,
See ya.
$2.99.
Yeah. Hey, bye, Ed.
Y'all, I'm gonna cut out of here, y'all. I gotta get up at 2:30 in the morning.
Well, I found the trick. Well, I don't want to do that one because that one hasn't been opened yet. Here's my yeller one. It's been opened. I found the trick for me is making sure that point is like straight up and down and just barely touching her a couple times. And then she usually has a nice little round dot on there. And
I always go around in a circle.
see, I've made the racing stripe more because I had my finger.
I just put them right in front of that light right there where I can see good.
Well, when she's a virgin, man, I've just had her on the desk. She'll just walk on the desk, and then I'll just
Yeah.
do her the way I want to.
Yep.
Grab her.
What
Look at
should I
that. These
do?
are Apis Biologics back there.
See little things where I've been tearing them off
What?
Oh,
Oh,
the
after
cup.
they hatch out.
oh yeah.
I just been throwing them in there.
I got one of them over here.
Yeah. Hey,
Marking
That's-
was free, then $1, now $4.
that's all the sales I've already used. Can you see all them?
You've used plenty more than me. Let me see what I got over. Yeah, I don't have. Matter of fact, I've got my cells in here with rustler bullets. I just had a stack of stuff here, so I got. Well, you can't even see them. You see the cells
Yeah.
down in there.
I see 'em. Now, I had one that I bumped, and it was supposed to hatch out like tomorrow, right? And I bumped it and opened it up. And when I bumped it, it just crushed the bottom of it. Oh, so I tore it open and I got her out. She was just about ready, you know. She only like one more day. And I got one of these out of the cup. Right?
What is it?
I got one of these old ones out of this cup.
Right.
And I stuck her in that old one. Then I took the JZBZ cup and I stuck it on top, put it back in there, and she hatched out the next day.
You took the old one and put it back over her in the cup? You put her in?
Yeah, I put her in another cup because I mashed that one, right?
And you put a new cell on top of her.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and she hatched out the next day and looked fine.
That's funny. Yeah, I saw that video, Frank. Chris sent me that. How they're using bees to find explosives. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I know where that happened. It's not too far from my house. They were experimenting with that.
And yeah, they would take the bees and collect them. Then they would put them in the refrigerator to basically put them into torpor, I guess. And then they would put them in these little cages. And when they somehow could identify the explosive, then they would feed them a drop of sugar water. And as they, I mean, just like anything else, right? A dog, they find out what you want, you give them a treat, right? But they were doing that with honeybees. So that's pretty cool. But I mean, what do you got to do? Follow the bees to the explosive, or do they,
They probably put a tracking device on them.
Yeah, they could. I've seen that too. I saw that on it was a British TV show. They had little antennas on the bees.
Yeah, they what's his name? That guy up in University of shoot.
Guelph?
No, it was United States. He's wrote several books. He put, like you say, he was tracking bees, and there's these little processors on the back of the bees.
Yep, and they can somehow track them.
Yep.
Lead you right to the mite bomb.
I gotta get out of here, y'all.
All right, man. We're getting ready to get off here in a minute too. So
yeah, I'm about done myself.
Y'all have a good one.
All right,
thank you, Tim and Hannah. Tim and Hannah are the first orders of the honey rustler. So
Tom Seeley, that's who it was.
See, Brian knows. Brian is like the librarian of beekeepers.
Yeah. Well, he reads a lot.
He's the Wikipedia of beekeeping.
Yeah, well, he reads a lot. He's one of them school teachers.
Beekepedia. That's what we need to come up with. Beekepedia, and then users can go in there and put different insights about bee topics. Beekepedia.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's been a busy week. Work has been crazy. My day job has been crazy. So trying to find time to get into the bee boxes when I'm getting into people's roaches and fleas and everything else. I read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts, pretty much all I do.
How do you keep yourself from getting bringing that stuff home?
I spray myself, my pants and all. Like if I go in a bed bug house, I'm definitely spraying my pants and everything. So knock on wood, nothing has happened yet. Do you know that Mason Jar has come out with a beehive or a bee? Damn, how should I call it? A bee themed Mason Jar. Did you see that?
No. What's it on Amazon?
Well, they are expensive. So even though they are pretty, they are expensive. Here, I'll share a screen. Share screen, share this screen, share, add to stream. So, doggone it. So, yep, it's got a honeybee on it and some little hexagons. and I went to look at them, and I was like, hey, you know what? That might be something cool to order. And it's all about bees, right? And you're talking about different foods and stuff. They got different recipes and all, but yep. The thing was, when I went to go look to buy them, they were astronomical, in my opinion, for the price. But who am I?
How much is a case? $1 a piece?
Well, you'd think a case of pints would be 12, but I think they were selling them in 6s. Let's see.
They're not quart jars?
Honeybee keepsake jars. Well, that's the same page. Where's the damn... They do have quart jars as well. I'm trying to find where the actual buy now button was. Was it at the bottom? I know I looked at it. Oh, explore the collection. Okay, so you see here, this pint jars right here, right? 16 ounce, 6-pack. Where to buy? So obviously we can't buy right from them. Oh, Amazon's out of stock now. That's how fast they went out of stock. But they were like, I want to say they were like $25 for 6 of them. So it's like $3 a jar.
Forget that.
Yeah, it's... I mean, maybe if you were doing gifts for somebody, possibly. Let's see if they got the quart ones. Let's see what they were. Jars. Where's the honeybee collection? All right, keepsake jars. Size. That's not the size we want. All right, that's 4 pints. Where to buy the 4 pint? 4 pint jars for $11.
No, I can buy
$3, right? Just under $3 a jar.
Yeah, you can buy, what is it, a dozen of them in the grocery store for a little bit of nothing.
You can buy a dozen regular mason jars for $1 more than that. So
yeah, it's about $1 a piece or so, a little over $1.
So I mean, they're cool. I get it, but yeah, not going to see that in my repertoire, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not doing, I fill quarts up for some customers and stuff, but that's it.
Let me see. I'm going to your place to pick some up. All right. Nightmark. Going to your place to pick some up. They didn't use to find feral hives with small box and church distance. Oh yeah, I saw that video as well. Let's see. Clothes washer outside for decontamination. But yeah, so that's not gonna. They got a 4-pack and a 6-pack. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't even see quarts. It's just pints. But it's something different. Or is it Ball trying to take advantage of the fact that they know a lot of beekeepers buy their jars to put honey in? Could be. Could be, for sure. So anyway, we're right at 10 o'clock tonight. Just wanted to say thank you for everyone who left a Google review. Went up a couple. I can see. Let me see how many people from here tonight. Thanks, Robert Simpson, Robert Souther, Ed Brown. Those 3 from tonight from the show. And everybody else that gave one during the day. Appreciate that. I should use the term half gallon instead of 64 ounces. That's a very good idea. Sounds bigger, right? Half of a gallon. And we'll do that.
Yeah, it makes a half a gallon.
Makes a half a gallon. Like
how many ounces in a gallon?
128. 128. Yeah, Dollar General is my Dollar General over here didn't have any when I went, so I'll have to look again next time I go. I don't go to Dollar General that often. I don't go anywhere that often, really, other than Walmart. But I appreciate all you guys. Anybody that feels so inclined, I still got a ton of Apis pre-order stuff, pins, swarm lure, whatever you want. We got it. Well, not whatever, but the stuff that I sell, I've got it. And Charlie, I'm gonna start spinning some frames out. I'm gonna start doing shake tests on some of those boxes, I think, and I might be doing 30 frames at a time and putting them back out there. 30 frames should get me 30 medium frames. How much should that get me, honey wise? At least 60 pounds, right? More than that.
Oh, you're talking about 10 frame?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get about 30 frames. I'll give you 150 pounds of honey.
All right. So
50, around 50 pounds per box. So
I know that one box is darn near that right now.
Yeah.
So,
around an average around 50 or 60 pounds per box.
Those are
what is it? What is it? It's a pound per frame, I think it is. No, it's not that.
No, it's more than that. It's like 3 pounds a frame, right?
Yeah, something.
That'd be 30 pounds to a 10 medium.
I think it's more than that. It's got to be more than that.
So I have to yeah, you might have done it. Steve, I had said something about that like 3 months ago and on a video, and people did it then. So you may have already been in the queue, buddy. But yeah, we just have a very much larger branch than us that had more reviews than we did. So that was kind of our manager's goal, was to get more Google reviews than them being a smaller location. So that's what we were trying to achieve. Plus, I'm trying to win $400, so that helps.
All right, it says here
mediums are 35 pounds. Mark says so. 30 mediums should be
a full deep holds 8 pounds. A medium will hold 6 pounds, so 60 pounds if evenly spaced 9 frame in a 10 frame box.
I've got 10 frames in there.
So I would say, I think it's somewhere around 50 pounds. I'll say.
So as soon as I might start pulling some of those off. I get a little more than a half a 5 gallon per super. Yep, so that'd be right. So half of 5 gallons would be 30 pounds. A little bit more than half would be probably 32, 35.
Yeah, that's true, because when I'm spinning.
So 30 frames should give me over 5 gallons.
I spin 18 frames and I can get 50, 54, 55 pounds. Sometimes even a little bit more than that.
So I'm going to have to start,
just figure 50 pounds per box.
I'm going to try to give them a week. I don't know. Maybe a week might be too long. I'm going to check it again this weekend and might have to pull some out.
Yeah, well, with honey, it's 12 pounds per gallon. 5 gallon bucket will hold
60 pounds.
60 pounds.
So I'm going to have to start.
I never do that because it's hard to pour. I always
do a little less.
I always keep it somewhere around 50 to 54 pounds, which that actually what it amounts to is I have that strainer in my bucket and it comes to the bottom of the strainer, and that's where I quit. And then that's about 3 or 4 inches below the top rim, and you can safely pour that bucket without spillage.
I just sold the swarm lure on Amazon as we're sitting here. Thank you, Wanda, if you're watching. But that's going to Ohio. Hopefully I got it in the right mode. Otherwise, I'm going to have to flip her around. Yep, perfect. But yeah, that's the oh my gosh. Trying to get everything. That's the thing, man. I'm worried. First of all, I don't have the frames I need. That's the first thing.
Well, I'll work on that this weekend.
And
See if we can't get something down to you.
I might have to order not might, I'm gonna have to order frames, man. I've been delaying. I mean, deeps I'm not so worried about. I could always put deeps on and let them draw some deep supers out. And you know, they probably just wouldn't get it all filled, right? So,
They pull it out pretty good on them nukes.
Yeah, well, you know that my battery, they just have not started moving up. I looked in the nukes. The nukes are filled with bees, but they just haven't started coming up into the super. And I've sprayed them with sugar water and everything up there to try to get them to come up. So I don't know what is going on with that, but let's see.
Right.
But we're going to get it this year. I think I'll actually, even with everything I thought was going to happen this year, I think I'm still going to end up with more honey than I did last year.
Yeah,
I did. I did bring drawn frames up top. So that's the thing. And some of them, like some of the nukes that I've split, that I put queens in, that are just starting to get their first cycle hatching out, you know, and then maybe they'll start being able to grow a little bit,
right?
And then we'll be able to get that rocking and rolling, and make it work. You look tired, Charlie.
Yeah, well, my back's been aching and killing me. And
what's the chance we got any dermatologists in here? We got any dermatologist beekeepers that are watching? I got a medical question. I've got this thing growing on me, and I don't know what it is, and I gotta get it fixed. It's the weirdest thing ever. I've never had it before, but check it out. If I can show it. You see that? It looks like a bird right here, but it's very long, and it's just in one line. I don't know what it is.
Ringworm?
I don't know. I thought that's usually like a circle.
Yeah, that is. That's true. That's true.
So, don't know. But at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're going to call it a night, since Charlie's starting to disappear in the background right there, meld into his background.
I don't know what this camera.
And we'll see you on the next live stream. Battery acid will take it off, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'll be on this Friday for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe Thursday, maybe just depends on what's going on and how we feel.
Right.
So
okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thanks, everybody, for the reviews, for the orders, for the likes, the thumbs up, all that good stuff. And, you know, subscribing to people's channels. And we'll see you guys in the next time. Thanks a lot.